Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, shout now, right now. Shout now, shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Phillip Show. Grab your coffee if you haven't already. One of the things that I love when speaking to people is really reliving some of the decisions that I've made and some of the passions that I had as a child and moving forward. A lot of people, and the times have changed a lot, and I'm talking about the music industry at this point. A lot of people are jarred by just how much the industry has changed. Of course, it's digital. There's so many things that are not the same. Record labels are not the same. Artistry is not the same. The spectrum of what is out in public because of social media is not the same. But also what is different is the kind of whimsical, romanticizing view of becoming an artist, getting signed to a record label, and then you're going to make all of this money. Is that true? And if not, what is the experience now? And if people aren't finding that kind of, success, if you will, what do people do? How do people shift? Do you create your own? What do you do? So today I'm super excited to be talking to Michael T. Downing, the creator of the Kick-Back Lounge, a producer, a composer, just all around music guy who's going to give us the tips and the tools to kind of figure out where to go, because we're going to hear what he did and what he does to keep it successful. Mike.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great, man. It's a pleasure to be on your show. And I really like to be on something like this that's organic. Do it yourself. I dig it, man. Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's kind of been my mantra, I think, my entire life. And we're going to get into how things come about. But, there's so many things that we all want to do and so many things that I wanted to do. And sometimes you just got to brave it and be like, listen, we're just going to get this done, and just jump out here, do it. Now, I see you're in the studio. Are you in the studio? Where are we at?
Yes, I'm in my home studio, which is great because there's a story behind that.
Okay.
So for many years, I used to hook up with other people and try to, make beats for people. I've always been a church musician, but outside of that, I try to make beats and work with artists. And I was always kind of streaming down a path of, I'll give you an idea. If anybody's ever watched 8 Mile and the character Rabbit, what he went through, played by Eminem, what he went through with all the people saying, you're going to blow up here, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. So I always had experiences very similar to that. Thank God for a very sound-minded wife. She used to get upset and say, why don't you build the studio yourself? Stop going to all these places. Because the environment was not that great. And there was a lot of theft back in the day. Like people would steal your ideas, your music. Yeah. So this here is the beginning of that. Creating your own atmosphere, which I say a lot on the Kickback Lounge site. Yeah. A lot of people don't have that, number one, skill, number two, support, but number three, the drive. It can be I was an artist for a long time, and I was in a group, I was a songwriter, a producer, all of that. And I still do a lot of those things, but life kind of shifts. It can be very discouraging when, you're following your passion and you're doing what you love and you see that people are going here and going there. But like you said, there are so many kind of risky business practices. There are so many things that you might not be able to trust, and you have to be very careful when you step forward, specifically back in the day. When you decided to say, hey, or I guess your wife helped you decide to kind of branch out on your own, what was it for you that was just like, you know what, I really think I can do this because that ain't working? Well, the last thing that triggered it off, and me and the gentleman are very good friends now. He's into ministry, but he was related to a very prominent producer. and he started his own record label in the area. Good guy, but it just was the same thing. The resources, the people that were coming around, and nothing really came out of it. You know, I thought like once I signed a production record deal, that's going to be it. That's it. And I signed it, and it was, I had like, you know, he gave me at least about like a year trial if I wanted to re-sign, and nothing happened. None of the music came out. A lot of people left. There was a lot of conflict. And I just came to the point where this has to end. You know, I'm getting older. I like making music. The passion won't go away, but it's got to be a way to do it. So that wasn't the birth of the Kickback Lounge, but that was actually the birth of the main company that's this is under, Urban Smooth Entertainment. That's the LLC. Okay. And, you know, that's what started it. But there's a lot of details in between that got it to here. It actually had to evolve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned that you do a lot of work in the church. You play. I'm going to get the words. Do you play in the church, or do you also produce gospel artists?
I play in the church very frequently, and I have produced some local gospel artists. Gentlemen, matter of fact, some non-local. A gentleman from California just did some tracks for, calls themselves The Difference, and he was sent me a link to his video like just yesterday. We did the track a while ago, and he just released it. And I did some stuff for it, some local gospel artists, and you know, and I play from church a lot. That's where I learned from the door. If my mother wasn't on me like she was, I might not be sitting there talking to you today. You know, I want to be a whole lot of other stuff.
A lot of people get their start. A lot of African Americans. Let me say it this way: a lot of African Americans get their start in church, and I think that's so crazy. I started singing in church, and a lot of the people that I came into contact with and make connections with, a lot of their testimony, if you will, was like, hey, well, I started in the church, and but you've branched out. You do gospel, of course. As a producer, you do all kinds of genres, but you also do EDM.
Yeah,
that's interesting. How are you so? How is your range so wide? So many people think that you have to stick to one, but your range as a producer is quite wide.
You know, as a kid, I found, and I look back and reflect on it, I liked, like, you know, of course I liked the soul. As you see, I'm a little older. I liked a lot of the soul and, you know, music that we had back then. But I liked crazy stuff like TV themes. I thought I was weird. I used to never tell anybody. Commercial jingles. And that was the beginning of the understanding that my ear had a broader genre. So as I later on got into this many years later, I met with a couple of gentlemen that I did some movie scores for. And this one gentleman out of Philly, he doesn't do it anymore, but he cracked me up. He had a real candid, how can I say, self-help conversation with me. He said, look, man, you're very beeping talented. Yeah. I can get a whole bunch of beats from up here. You can do movie scores. Send me some scores. Get on that piano, man. He said, you do some stuff that should get you out that box. He said, matter of fact, don't go in the box with everybody else. And my wife had told me that previously. He just said it with a little bit more colorful words. So God just generally gave me this broadness of my ear. I hear stuff and I can play it, or I can hear it and create something out of it just from a couple of chord passes or a melody and create my own and flip it around. I can get like the idea of it. So, and you asked about the EDM. I'll tell you why. I picked all instrumental genres because, and here's what the trouble I was going through, as I mentioned about the artists. Some of the people that I recorded here didn't reflect where I was spiritually. So I kind of had to back away from some of the people I said yes to. So I had the whole chill hop thing. I've been doing that before they even called it that. This was tracks I didn't send out to anybody. It's just stuff that I liked.
Yeah.
You know, then I saw the genre took off. EDM. I'd always liked electronic dance music because it varies and it's instrumental again. You know, and jazz. That came from when I was a kid. My brother was in the Air Force, my brother Dennis, and he used to go, when he went to Okinawa, he would come back with all this like jazz CDs. I mean, not CDs, I'm sorry, it was records and tapes back then.
I was about to say, I was like, they had no CDs back then.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I slipped. It was like records and tapes, Weather Report, Bob James, Spiral Gyra. He had all that stuff. So coming from a musical family, he would play that stuff sometimes when we were in, you know, we had bunk beds. All the brothers in one room, sisters in other. So I'm listening to this stuff and different type of music as I'm going to sleep. And it was getting in my ear and it became a part of who I was. So I hope I answered that right.
Oh no, that was great. While you're talking and you're kind of reliving your path, I'm just sitting here thinking about my own journey and all of that. So it was that was refreshing to hear. It was refreshing to hear yours because I could definitely relate. Your the lounge that you have. Let's talk about that. The Kickback Lounge. And I know that you have a YouTube channel that's doing really well. What is that, and what do you want it to do for people?
Okay, so first, I talk about a little bit how the Kickback Lounge got established. So as I said, it was many transitions when I left the record label and started doing things myself. So during the pandemic, I used to post some stuff on YouTube and say stress-free music because I was already into the instrumental genre. And I had talked to my wife and I said, I need to create a lane. Something that's defining that says what my music does, you know. And she said, well, let's play with some names. So we played with a whole bunch of names and stuff. And I said, well, what does the music make you think of? She said, it's very laid back. It's very like kick back, and you can work while you're listening to it. You can study the word while you listen to it. You can, you know, just drive and meditate. Like it's right in between. I had someone else tell me that it has a lot of uses, but she said it doesn't get you too excited. Like it doesn't overstimulate your mind. And she said, kick back. And then I said, lounge. So here we go. We played around with the name. We seen other people had kickback music on there, and it was everything from country to all kind of stuff. So she said, take the K off, you know, and that's how that was going. I love it. The purpose of it and what I hope it continues to do is I like to call it, you know, like a spiritual music where I'm not exactly like having people, which will come in due time when I find the right artist, but I'm not having people basically on there saying anything, but the spirit of the music takes the stress off of you. And you can operate and do different things when it's in the background. And I want more people to listen to it. And, you know, when you want to turn out all the noise and you got to think, but you got to get stuff done, you can turn on the Kickback Lounge, you know, and that's my hope, to spread it out all over the place. And the big, one of the big things is I've had some licensing with some companies that are into media, that, you know, that get your stuff placed in commercials and stuff. But I like to get it in more commercial backgrounds, more podcasts, you know, providing tracks for people and that type of thing. Because it's great background music. If you watch the video, sometime I put up there and it says your background music.
Yeah, and I'll have to say, when I went to your YouTube page, that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, oh wow, this is a great track, you know. And in my mind, and by track I mean, yes, it's great music, but it's great supporting music as well. That's it. Because I would think when I was listening to it, I could see different either TV scenes, movie scenes. I could see different talkovers, voiceovers, you know. So it's interesting that you said that, because that's exactly what I picked up when I heard it.
Yes.
So you're having what is success to you where you are right now in music? What does success look like?
Okay, that's pretty easy. First, when a person is trying to define success, and this is what I had to do, you got to separate from, and I'm sound churchy for a minute, got to separate from the world system of what they call success. Success, number one, is finding out who you were created to be. And number two, finding out the purpose that you were created for. And then once you find out those two things, your purpose becomes that product that can be placed in places where it's supposed to be. That's success. Somebody might never know you worldwide, but enough people will know you where whatever that you wanted to do becomes successful. I'm gonna use a good example. I've got the time. I live near Atlantic City. They have a sub shop called White House. It's world renowned. Bill Cosby talked about it. They're in the same place for many years on this little corner, and people still talk about him. And all the owner did was make good subs. That's what he's known for. Yeah. So I apply that to musicians. Like, don't chase what people say the industry says. Oh, this is popping right now. That's pop. I did that, and that's a mistake. When you sit down, if you're a musician, singer, artist, actor, well, whatever it is, you sit down, you think about, what is it that I want to do? And if it just comes out like that, like water out of a faucet, that's what you should be doing. Yeah. And that's success. When you get into the vein of what you should be doing and you stay consistent and you start to see people notice you, like right now, this is success because I'm talking to you, and I don't know how far you are away from me. I've never met you before, but I've made an impact with what I've done. Absolutely. That's success. Same thing with your show. You're successful because you found what your purpose was. I'm started preaching. Sorry.
No, that was good. I'm like, absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of people. You hit on something. Talking about remaining authentic or remaining who you are, and the industry, particularly the music industry, is very good at recrafting you as an individual or you as an artist and turning you into some sort of a branding opportunity or what's going to trend or, all of that. How do you, and you kind of mentioned it just a minute ago, but how do you remain so passionate about doing your music? What is it that says, I'm just going to keep going? Because people have the opportunity to say, hey, I'm not going to do it. You could have said, I'm not going to do a YouTube channel. I'm going to go and be bivocational over here and just forget it. So what is it about, why are you so passionate to keep music at the forefront of your life?
Well, one of the main things is I try to put it down, not think about it, but it comes to me even in my sleep. So when I subtracted the money part out of it, and I think that's important for a lot of people, because this is what I did. When you subtract that, I'm supposed to be making $1 billion out of this $1 billion, and you just do it, it keeps you passionate. Because sometimes I could come down here, and I don't mind telling you this, I still work a regular job, but I'll come down here because when I get home, this is my true work. And when I can sit here and pour out of something that's already in my spirit, then I have to stay passionate with it because it's just something like that won't stop coming. It's like breathing. That's just what you do. But when you get into it to the point of it's a joy to do it, that keeps you passionate about it. If you get into it because you want to make money, you're going to destroy a whole lot of other things other than what your dream is. That's a wrong thing that people can do. And that's what the industry has done from the time that I took it real serious in the late 80s, early 90s. And that's when I met all those slew of people. And when I look back at it, I looked at it and said, we were trying to be people we weren't, but the industry was saying, you know, we want this product because it's selling here. We want something like that. We want something like that. And when I looked at it overall, I said, okay, they're a big bank. They just want products. They don't want people. They don't want artists. And not all of them, but majority of them. But you have to come in with the idea of, I have to be passionate about it to do anything. Other than that, I don't care what you pay me. I'll take a quarter off the street than taking $250,000 from you, and I'm not passionate with it. You know?
Yeah, that's it's who you are. You know,
yes.
It's who you are, and who you are it's what you do because of who you are.
Yes.
You know, it's like I really enjoy that. It sounds like you have a lot to balance. You know, being a musician isn't easy. You have the keyboards in the background. You have production to do. You have a YouTube channel to do. You mentioned that you also have another job and you're married, so you have a family. How do you balance all of these, and does it sometimes overlap negatively?
I balance it well because I have a wife who is a great organizer, and we both work heavily in the church. I work with youth. She works with youth. I work as a church musician. And we do other ministries outside of here, because along with what I do here, I have a page called C1 Ministries where I just speak the word. So behind you, I won't turn to it right now because it's kind of sloppy looking, but I have a big wipe away board, and I write down notes. And I have a calendar that I keep everything in line with. And she helps me because she's organized doing her thing. So she helps me sometime with my thing, and then she gives me tips. So the best way to stay balanced is to organize everything you can. If one thing gets out of order, and I'm just going to say this, if you have a bill that comes across your table, I'll pay that later. Now, I've been in situations where that one little thing could throw me off because it backed up everything else. So I can't come down here and create. I got to go upstairs, sort out the bills. I got to hear from her. Why aren't you paying it all? So all these things work together. You have to just organize your space and basically manage your territory. God has given us territories. Manage everything. And now all the productivity, that you have will flow because you're managing the territory that you're in. That's very important. So that's how I do it.
That's
another thing, go ahead. And one more thing. You keep it small. Bite the pieces that you can handle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you elaborate? What do you mean? What is small? What's that mean?
Okay, so you set small goals. You have a list of big goals, but you organize your goals and put them one piece at a time. So I can accomplish this goal in a week. If this goal in a week is to go through, I have thousands of tracks, stuff I've been doing for years. Take one of the older tracks that I went through and remix it. All right, I'm gonna start that on Monday, because by Friday I want to have that posted. So what I try to do is stay with that a little bit at a time through the week, and then manage everything else. It was a time when I used to do too much and try to get all that stuff done. And it was like, no, that's too much. It's like carrying too much in your arms. You can only carry but so much. So you lift what you can carry, come back, get the rest. That's how I look at things.
With the kids I'm calling kids now, with the kids in the music industry now, with people in the music industry now, and it's changed so much. A lot of what you're saying is through experience and being grounded. And I'm sure going through like some times where this didn't really work. And I learned a lesson to be disorganized. I learned that if I'm not, this will happen. What is some advice that you would give to somebody in this generation? Number one, trying to stay committed to who they are and not compromise. But number two, to try and move forward in their pursuits. What advice would you give them?
I would say before they do anything, find themselves. Find out if what you're doing, you're supposed to do. Because be honest with you, there's a lot of people who want to be singers, songwriters, rappers, producers. But for a lot of people, that's not your calling. You may be called to be behind the scenes or maybe do something totally different and be very well at it. So the main thing I would say is don't turn off all the internet and all the interviews about people making billions and signing here, because as we're starting to see, as this stuff comes out more about the industry, it's a huge shambles. A lot of that stuff was fake. You know, find out who you are first and then proceed with what your calling is, what you're supposed to be. When you find that out, then it's kind of easy to stay passionate. A lot of people can't stay passionate because that's not really what they're supposed to be doing. They just trying to make money and be famous, which is you know, going church again, which is a huge tool of the devil. He can get you quick like that, because as they say, the easy way to scam somebody is they have to be greedy first. True artists aren't really greedy. They just want to express their art. If these kids get in this industry now trying to rap and, you know, with all this mess with the drill rapping, as you see, that's starting to seriously decline because it's causing lives. You know, if you're getting into that kind of stuff, you know, you're getting into the industry, you know, find out really who you are. I wouldn't even, okay, I'm gonna go a little further. I wouldn't even get into the industry. Don't touch the industry. There's enough resources between the internet and a lot of the equipment I had. I got that a long time ago, but I've upgraded. I got a lot of computerized stuff. But you can have a laptop, like I have one of these ones over here, and a MIDI controller and a mic, you know, and start your own label. I wouldn't say involve yourself around a lot of people that don't have the same agenda as you or have troubled spirits. And, you know, it's a bad road. Find out who you are and then create your own atmosphere. That's the most important, I would tell young people to do. Find out who you are, create your own atmosphere.
Find out who you are and create your own atmosphere. That sounds so easy and it's so difficult. You know, it's so, you know, the journey to who, I talk about that a lot. The journey to who, the who of yourself is, you know, that is, it's quite the journey. And yeah, creating your own atmosphere, what a challenge, but how rewarding it is to be able to be able to do that. All right, so I got some offbeat questions. You have a playlist, right?
Right.
Let's say you have a playlist. What are the top 3 artists that you're playing? Go.
You know, here's the thing. My playlist is old school. So it would be, wow, Chic, because I just love Nile Rodgers' work on the guitar and the vocals. Shalimar.
Oh.
That group was just dope. Now I'm going to come a little bit up further. Aaliyah.
Wow. I didn't see that coming.
Because Aaliyah, to me, is like the epitome of an artist, even though she's not with us now. Soft vocals, powerful vocals, and great production behind her. She showed you that you didn't have to come off from the rafters to get things done. And that's underlining of knowing who you are and bringing that forth. And she made it work for her to where she's gone now, but people still remember her for what she did, you know? So I try not to back, because I didn't want to stay too far back in the past. There's very few people I follow now. So that would be my playlist. That would be my top 3, because the stuff now is kind of like derivative of this, and this, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I really like that your mention of Aaliyah really aligns with what you were saying also about surrounding yourself with people that are kind of like-minded, because not only did she know who she was, her producers and the people that were arranging with her, and all, they knew who she was and who she was not. So they didn't push her to be an artist vocally that was competing with somebody doing all of the loud vocal acrobats. They really let her shine in the lane that she really had mastered. And so that's really good, to your point of, you know, find yourself and surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that will support you in that decision, basically,
Yes.
and amplify that in the best way possible. That was a really great throw out there with Aaliyah. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So, so I'm so glad that you were here today. Thank you for taking the time. Before we go, tell everybody that's watching and everybody that's going to be listening, where can we find you?
Okay. I'm on YouTube under Kickback Lounge. If you type that in, you'll find my videos. Make sure you spell it like this shirt. The Kickback Lounge. The kick has KIC dash, then back lounge. And you can really find me at www.kickbackmusic.com. And remember, spell the kick with a KIC dash backmusic.com.
Perfect. So we pull up the website and then we can get every opportunity to link with you.
Yes.
Got it. Mike, thank you so much for sharing. You shared some nuggets of wisdom today.
Thank you, brother.
And yeah, and I'm so glad that you found the space and the support to be able to live within your passion and to compartmentalize it in a successful way where you have the freedom to do exactly what it is that you're supposed to do. It's so inspiring.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being here. And I will, we'll have to catch up again because I'm really interested in listening to some of those tracks. Because I'm like, wait, hold on, that needs to be a background. But we'll talk about that later.
Sure. Whatever you listen to, whatever you want. We'll definitely. I'd like to expose it, so we can go
Absolutely.
for that.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
So that is Mike, Kickback Music and Kickback Lounge. You heard it here, KIC-BACK-music.com. And you'll have all of this at phillipo'rourke.com too. There's so many ways to connect with him, and I want to make sure that you're successful. If you didn't take anything else away today, one of my biggest takeaways is live your purpose. It's who you are, and you'll always find yourself coming back to that. Be accountable for what it is that you're doing. Be intentional about the people that you surround yourself with, and be committed to the actual process. And one of the things, the other thing that I'm taking away is like, be organized, because, you know, we can be as musicians and creatives. Listen, we can be all over the place, but be organized. And if you're not, find somebody who will help you be organized. As usual, you are the best you in the world. I will see you next time here on The Phillip Show.
Don't